Hola, mi amigo. And by that, I mean Bobby, not anybody else. I don't know if anyone. It's a late night on a Tuesday, so I don't know who we're going to have chilling with us today. It might just be you and me,
We're
but
turning it
whatever.
up. And Bobby Fran. He tweeted about it. He was fired up.
Yeah, I was just on his show. And
Yeah, I saw that, man. Congrats. It's a
they're
big hit.
they're fun, man. No, but Bobby's a fun dude. Dude, Bobby has
Why?
such radio voice. It's fucking crazy. And like he really has I was jealous because you and I, we do our thing. We have fun. At one point, we had structure. We kind of just became two buds talking, whatever, and it became whatever it is. He has such structure with two people or three people, whatever he has all the time on the show, who just sit there and they're kind of like a studio audience who sometimes say things.
Yeah.
He's got a lot. He's got segments and noises and this. And I was like, holy, this guy is like, he's like Carl Jr., like so WTV's Carl with all the segments. He's not there yet, but he's like, it was pretty fun to be on there.
He has a real. Did you ever watch the Chris Gethard show?
I know of Chris. I never watched it.
Okay, but it has his show has a real feel like when it was back on public access, because it was Chris doing a show with all the bells and whistles, and then it was just people around him, sometimes being a part of it, sometimes just doing their own thing. At one point, a dude just started wearing a banana suit and showing up, so he became a character on the crew. Like I feel like there's a lot of elements of that.
Nice. And where you're at, how's the weather? Because here it started to sleet and snow a little bit and got a little bit shitty. And now it's just fucking bitter. But like for like when I had to go to the stress factory for a little bit, and it was just like fucking
Oh, I hope that wasn't too stressful.
snowy. Oh, what was stressful is all the Korean kids in there. Just they're like, oh, this is so tough. And being in this, that's what they should call a sweatshop, a stress factory. It's a way better name because I don't know if those guys are really sweatshop. I don't know. It just implies that you're. I think you should be sweating when you work inside an industrial shop. But if you're a stress factory, like you're making me stressed out.
Do we worry about cursing in the first 10 minutes here? I
No,
forget. Okay.
no, not
Stress
until we
factories.
actually get monetized, and we're not yet.
Okay,
But
cool. Then I
but
can do my bit.
today I think we've come up. I have not an idea. Something happened where I think we're gonna get there faster than we think.
Okay. Well, here's what I'm going with, and then I'll just do my bit, which is stress factory. It's what I call anything that has a cunt attached to it, whether God made or man made.
I was I was helping out at a comedy class, and I'm sure I'll get shit for that on here. But today there's a comedy class at Stress Factory, and I was asked to come in and help them out a little bit. And there's a really funny comic named Andrew Kennedy. He travels all over. He does cruise ships, all this shit. It's fucking hilarious. He almost had a sitcom on. He had a pilot on CBS and just didn't get picked up. So like the guy's fucking an awesome comedian. But we were helping out these students and stuff. And Andrew's a great guy, but he doesn't know all like the not even today's slang. He just doesn't know a lot of slang stuff. You know what I mean? So there's a woman that was leaving, and they do classes on Tuesday. And he said to her, "All right, see you next Tuesday." And I was like, haha. And he's like, "What? That's when we meet." I go, "Come on, man. See you next Tuesday." And then the two other guys still there laughed. I go, "You just called her a cunt." And he's like, "How did I call her a cunt? I just said I'll see you next Tuesday." And he just kept saying it. I'm like, you can't be the only person in the world who doesn't know that "see you next Tuesday" is you're calling someone a cunt. Like, she's a real "see you next Tuesday." He's like, I don't even see how that makes sense. I had to keep it. I almost felt like a who's on first bullshit thing. And finally he's like, "Oh boy."
Dude, what would be crazier is if there was an Amy who taught the class, and he was like, "When's Amy gonna be here?" And he was like, "If you seek Amy, see you next Tuesday."
It's like, why would I seek Amy? She's right there. Like that. I don't need to seek her. I can find her. She comes to class, Pat. She comes to us. But so today was fun. Who's here? Oh, the Grand Master.
Okay, we got to be careful
Kish.
giving titles like that to our fans.
He looks
The
like a grand.
something. I didn't think it was gonna be master.
He looks like a wizard, but he's not. He's a tremendous man. He's a Gandalf. He's the Gandalf of the Compound Media fans and all those people. Kish in the
That
house.
is a surprisingly accurate
Yeah,
metaphor.
he's a wise
He
man.
does just show up. It's always a good time, but it's never what you intended to be doing with him. Like he'll show
Right.
up to shoot off fireworks, and then all of a sudden you're destroying a ring with a homosexual who somehow played one down for Notre Dame and probably jumped off sides.
Right, and the people that are with him look like they're dirty from a noble quest. Like, instead of like hobbits, it's just like a ski mask or a mead.
You could just say that he had special people around Frodo, and Kish walks around with a different type of special, but special people nonetheless. Kish, I like how you
Lord,
did Pat, even though I was super excited to see you. But
Lord of the Rees. That's what he so awesome that he is here. Can I, Bobby? I'm gonna ask you questions. I'm pretty sure you know the answers, but play dumb so we can catch. You're gonna help me catch the audience up on something I'm sure they're not aware of that I'm gonna make them aware of. Okay?
Okay, so there was this hang glider, and it really goes back way before that. But
by the way, Bobby, ask the Grand Wizard, and he shall receive. Here you go. Thanks, Bobby.
Thank you, Kish. I love you, buddy. I was just playing around, but just to catch everybody up, there was this whole thing at one point during 1942, after that whole Grand War. A group of people was like, we don't have our own nation. And then some dude flew a hang glider. Anyway, they're caught up. Go ahead, Pat.
All right. Do you know what the dabbleverse is?
So, to the best of my knowledge, it's people who mock Stuttering John?
Yes. It is a world within the YouTube, Twitter world of podcasts and things. A world that, just like Twitter, there's so many subcultures there, and Reddit and things of that nature, where sometimes people that get caught up in those things believe those are the biggest things in the world. You know what I mean? Like people that go down the rabbit hole of like those TV shows about like the Dorothy Dozen, like that whole thing, or like the Mad Mama thing, like the bad moms who adopt 12 kids and like take advantage of them, and then people talk about them in these on their TV shows, on their TikTok, in their Reddit, and they think because they follow it so much that the rest of the world knows about it. But in reality, when you mention it, most people don't know. Now the Dabbleverse is even smaller than that. It's probably what?
I see what we're dealing with here. Like the level of, if somebody was like, what's bothering you, you would have to take 10 minutes to give the backstory before you could even give the story.
Right, but somebody that's in the universe, like, okay, for example, with the Compound universe that you're in, there are people that aren't on, like if you watch Compound or literally just went to their website and saw the names of the shows, you could say, oh, Gino Bisconti is part of Compound's universe. Chrissy Mayer is part of it. Bobby is part of it. You know what I mean? You would see it from the website by looking at things, whatever. Even in a Kevin Bacon degree way, you can look at it enough and go, oh, Pat Oates is sometimes part of it. You know what I mean? Because like I've been on shows with Kevin Dombrowski, like certain people's names come up and this and that, whatever.
Joe Rogan.
Yeah, but see, even that one would be the one like, wait a minute, Joe Rogan's part of that? It's like, well, no, he's been on once, and you know who Rogan is, and you'd have to go that whole route. Well, Joe Rogan used to be on, do you ever hear of Opie and Anthony? And they'd be like, wait, I think I heard of them. They're kind of like Howard Stern, right? And you're like, yeah. And Joe Rogan used to be on both those shows, but used to be on Opie and Anthony more.
Okay.
And so you're getting that route.
You would be like, have you heard of Howard Stern?
You have to go way high and then start working your way down. Like if I said Compound Media, but I wanted to say to you, do you know Ski Mask? And like if I say that to somebody who's in the Brennan world or the Compound world, they watch all that stuff, they obviously know who he is, or Stevie Lou or someone like that. But if I said to just like some person, if you're back at your reunion in school and you say that, they don't know. Okay, do you know Anthony Cumia? They're like, yeah, from Opie and Anthony. Okay.
How do you know Anthony Cumia is my follow-up question.
Right, yes, okay. Well, Anthony Cumia, they're like, yeah, I think ever since he had those tweets, I haven't heard from him. Well, he's been on his own show behind a paywall.
I tell you.
Right. There's like a little story about a man named Jed. It's like, so you get that point, and then you go from Cumia, and you're like, all right, well, when he first started his thing, he had a bunch of different shows. There's this comic, Kevin Brennan. They'd be like, wait, doesn't he have a brother Neil that knows Dave Chappelle? Yes, Kevin is different and doesn't like him at all, but yes, Kevin had a show on here. And Kevin had all these guys who were fans of his shows, and this guy Ski Mask was one of the you get to the whole thing. The Dabbleverse is kind of the same way, where you said, isn't it where people make fun of Stuttering John? And when you say Stuttering John, people probably know that name more than any of the other names in the Dabbleverse. Now, Kevin Brennan might have more credits if you listen to Howard Stern, you might know Bob Levy and you might know of Shuley, but the Stuttering John name because of everything that happened with Howard Stern. And then when he got hired by The Tonight Show and Jay Leno and got in a national scene years and years, 20-something years ago, you would know who that is. So that's how you would start explaining it. Now, I am not really a part of the dabbleverse. I don't really believe I'm in any of the verses, but if I was in one, I'd probably more associated to the compound verse, because if you went on there and searched my name, I've been on shows about 15 times. But I'm not really in one of those worlds.
Well,
but
to quote Christy Mayer, who I believe coined the term dabble verse, you would say you dabble in the dabbleverse.
Do you know how she coined that?
Didn't she say he dabbled in stand-up comedy?
Now, I believe he said, I could be wrong on this. I believe when they were interacting and he came on her show, her own individual show,
he said it to her.
She said, oh, don't you do stand-up? He's like, I dabble in it. And it was so funny that she repeated it and made it a thing. And it became the dabbleverse in that way, because they started saying that and all the world's becoming in that thing. So he be the most known. Now, I'm not part of that. Now, the only way I'd have a Kevin Bacon 6 degrees of separation connection to Stuttering John would be that I appear a couple times on a podcast called Who Are These Podcasts that you are familiar with. People don't know, it's a podcast who makes fun of other podcasts. Weirdly enough, I became on their radar because before Bobby and I did a podcast together, I was doing, and after I had a podcast with myself and Brandon Smith, a buddy of mine, when he stopped doing it with me, I was doing some by myself. And I was ranting and doing dumb things, and it wasn't the best thing in the world. I'm not good at doing one-on-one. I like conversations, whatever. I didn't really have a format. I was just yelling and making fun of things. I really didn't think anybody was paying attention anyway, except for local Connecticut comedians, some people I knew.
And
you know,
apparently Carl of Who Are These Podcasts?
No, apparently people that didn't get along with me in Connecticut that sent to Carl, hey, shit on this guy. That's how I wasn't on Carl's radar. I actually know a comedian, a guy who used to do comedy in this podcast, a guy named Andrew Morgan. He sent it there to them, and they shit on me. And someone told me about that. And it's funny, that week they were going to shit on me, I was on the Anthony Cumia show, and guess who else was on the show? Carl from Who Are These Podcasts. And when we met, Carl goes, "Oh hey," and we were on the show together. We had fun. He goes, "Oh man, you're like a really good guy. I hate to tell you, I'm about to shit on your podcast." I go, "Oh man, you go for it." I've watched a couple of things. Anthony introduced it to the world, that compound world. So I had watched it and I liked it. And I'm like, oh, I'm sure you're going to tear me a new one. And I watched it. And yeah, there were some real things he said that I could learn from, right? But also, they did it in a funny way. So I shared it. I said, this is fucking hilarious. They do an impression of me. They were using sound bites of me. They still use some of them sometimes to this day. And he was like, and their fans reached out like, "Oh, it's crazy that you've embraced it." I kind of like, we want to hate on you, but like you were like, yeah, I got it, whatever. So then Carl was like, "Why don't you come on sometime?" And I came on. And Carl's big thing, even though he makes fun of podcasts, the thing that gets him on people's radars is shitting on famous people that kind of are not famous anymore. And the two big people he did were Opie from Opie and Anthony. That's how he got on. This is, I know it's a big chart I'm painting for everybody, but I want them to. We're getting to the purpose in a second. Where how now all of a sudden I get into this universe. Opie from Opie and Anthony. That's why Anthony found out who Carl was, because he was shitting on his arch nemesis, former partner, and he was like, "Oh, this is great that you shit on him." And then just Stuttering John. And some of the shows I would go on, people enjoyed the segments the most when I was commenting and making jokes about Stuttering John and the things he was doing. I wasn't shitting on him just being a person. I was in a format and asked to be on a show to shit on a thing I watched, which was him talking on his show and saying wild things. And people started to really like me doing that. I was getting comments, getting asked to be on other shows that are in that world as well and all that stuff. So, but the last time I was on, I got a lot of comments about some things I made, because I like to go on there instead of just making fun of someone. I like to make up fake theories. You and I do that on here all the time. It's just kind of our sense of humor. Why is someone doing that? We go, "Oh, it's probably because this and this and this happened." It's not true. It's like we're almost making up like silly fan fiction, if you will. You know what I mean?
Maybe you are. I'm literally a schizophrenic.
You literally started this show by going, I said we have to explain things, and you went to hang glider. So you literally did it as an example at the beginning of the show. That's what we do. So
yeah, no,
I know, I'm kidding. But so I made fun of I don't know which thing got on someone's radar, but one of the things that people brought up a lot was a theory I had. Two of them, 2 times back when he was on, he was at a bar, and he was, being shitty, whatever. And I broke down about the whole thing about the bartender and him not having respect for the bartender and this whole thing.
Yeah, he said, "Bartender, I really did it this time."
Yes,
Broke
basically.
my parole to have a good time.
Yeah, and breaking down all these things, and then people were like, "Whoa, that's like an insight." And I wasn't really having an insight; I was just trying to have fun with it. But like they liked it. The last time is Carl records in a studio that's got wood paneling, like old school, like Brady Bunch wall type things that are in there. It's just what the studio basement or whatever it is looks like. Many people have seen wood paneling, but John focuses on that and would always make jokes that makes Carla. He calls him Carla instead of Carl. He calls him Carla all the time. That makes Carla gay because he has wood paneling, and wood paneling is gay. And they kept saying that. He's like, I don't understand why he says that. And I did the theory thing that I do, and I go, probably because when he was younger, he probably was brought down by an older person, probably a man, to a basement with wood paneling, and he got diddled, and therefore that's why he feels that, because he was forced to be gay. So Carl's forced himself to be gay, jokingly, whatever. But that got a lot of people were like, "Holy shit, Beck got really in his head," whatever. But at the end of the day, whenever these shows come out, the people that battle with John the most are Carl, Shuley on his own network, where he has all these shows about making fun of him, Kevin Brennan to an extent, Chad Zumach, these people. It's never usually the guests that are on the show. He doesn't really care who they are. So I was watching a bunch. I love the soap opera drama. I pay attention to those shows. All those shows that make fun of each other. I was watching one show today called Nobody Loves Onions with the guy Patrick Melton, and he was trolling Chad Zumach. And then Chad likes to snipe people, so Patrick was sniping Chad. Then Chad tried to snipe him back. And you're watching like 6 cameras on a TV as they were kind of doing each other, but Melton had other cameras on too. So it was like Chad couldn't even speak, and he just ran away and quit. And it was like, I was laughing at the shit. He just shuts down his fucking show and runs away. So I'm laughing at the hilarity of the trolling.
If you enjoy the Russian dolls of podcasts, check out Choppin' with Chapin. Go on.
The whole levels thing? Okay. So you can find that where?
My YouTube.
Yeah, see? Plug. Anyway, if you're going to...
subscribe here. Subscribe to this.
But also go there. You can subscribe to everything. You should subscribe to everything you watch. People that are watching YouTube, it takes 2. You're watching anyway. Even if you don't like it, you should always hit the like, and you should always subscribe. Your phone doesn't get full.
Here's my issue, though. Then when I go to my liked videos, it's a bunch of videos I didn't actually like.
Yeah, then don't go to your liked video. Grow up.
Okay. You were watching a podcast with a guy who does what?
Shits on people.
His name's Onions or whatever? Yeah. No,
Patrick Melton is fucking brilliant. Anyway.
Melton's fine. Yeah, no. I'm just saying. We all enjoy our own things.
Dude, I can...
I liked videos on YouTube. You enjoy your dabbleverse.
So getting to that whole point through there, I'm done watching that, and it will suggest other shows in that world. Now, the dabbleverse is really spawned off where other people that probably were never known or not like that started to get channels because they started to either also make fun of John or make fun of the people that make fun of John, or like the branching off these things. And some of these people are regular people in regular life, not famous people like a stuttering John or a Kevin Brennan. So therefore they have to have secret identities and things like that. So there's a potato, this guy Cardiff, there's a corn div guy, there's a puppet, Tukey. And Tukey does Tukey soup, kind of like the old talk soup, where he shits on all these things and he's just yelling out loud and doing all this wacky stuff. So I saw that Tukey, it came in my feed, says, oh, Tukey's going to be making fun of Stuttering John. And I was like, oh, I'll check that out for a minute before I have to go. And as I click on it, Tukey, the puppet, a green Elmo, is on my TV. And he is sniping Stuttering John's podcast live. And Stuttering John is shitting on someone. And guess who it was?
Uh, is it alive or dead? Is he alive?
I hate you.
Was he shitting on you, Pat?
I see a video of me performing at Caroline's from like 8 years ago, and he's breaking down my stand-up, saying that I'm shitty.
Oh yeah, dude. That's
Dude.
basically like being on the Tonight Show.
Not even, yes! See? You already went right where I said. If I watched this 3 years ago in the mental state I was in life, I'd be like, oh my God, I'm being shit on. What's going to happen? But all I could think was, oh my God, I just saw a puppet watching a guy who used to be famous watching my stand-up. Like, if I sent it to my therapist, she goes, you need medication. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Dude, I was just saying, like, I would have to be like, am I just too high?
Yeah,
Did I
the fever
this
dream.
show?
So the better part is the puppet, as he's watching it, turns it down and goes, no offense to Pat Oates. I'm sure he's a good guy. I don't care about watching his stand-up or John's take on it. So I did a super chat and just put up, I don't want to watch me either. like just saying I saw it. And then I had to go. But that makes me officially, I believe, now that I'm a target and knowing what he does with things, I would assume I am a target of Stuttering John now, at least for a moment. Now, I don't think it's going to last because I'm not really that interesting. And I'm not any of those guys who goes off on wild thing. We do our own thing. We don't really talk about it. Yeah, I'm talking about it now, but I thought it was crazy. So then my mom calls and goes, what's going on? I go, hey, do you remember Howard Stern? And then I start going down that whole thing. And she goes, a puppet's mean to you? I go, no. The puppet was actually my friend. the stuttering human.
It's like middle school all over again. I told the puppet where I got touched, and he was okay.
Yeah, but then the stuttering janitor, he's the one who did mean things to me. It's like, but like, it was so insane to like even know that was like something that's happening in my day.
Here's my concern, Pat. When you fight a retard.
Now I'm not fighting anyone.
But now you are.
I was hired.
Okay, no.
To do a job. No. But to do a job on someone else's show.
No. I have no issue with what you did, but I think you actually made the metaphor much better. You're right. You are not fighting a retard. You are going about your business, walking around your day, and then all of a sudden, somebody with Down syndrome rounded the corner and tried to fight you.
Surprise!
So yeah, now you're either going to get beat up by a retard or you're going to beat up a retard. Here we go.
Now, when you say
if
that,
enough to catch you off guard, you're going to be in trouble because typically that's our advantage. They got the strength.
Now I know that you're saying that as he's going to attack it as a joke. He is known to, when he does get upset, to challenge people to fights, like to box them or just really fight them. No, I don't think he's ever fought anyone since when he was in Howard Stern and fought a man named Cabby. But he's offered to fight Reverend Bob Levy. He's offered to fight Shuley. All these people, he's always like, he was going to box all the people from the BS show, which is Shuley, Mike Morris, and Levy, at the same time. At one point, he was supposedly going to fight them. I don't know how that's going to happen. But I have not been issued any challenge or heard from him myself. That was just talked about. It might be nothing more than that. But
yeah, I bet you tuned out real quick before he started throwing that challenge around. I don't know if you could handle old Stuttering John, tough guy.
Now here's the thing, Bobby. If the people that are his minions, which he has less minions than the others, so most of the people that watch him are watching him to get Carl and Shuley and all them information. That's what that world is. Most of like
Stuttering Paul, Stuttering Ringo, and Stuttering.
Well, there's Muttering Jay. There's other names. Like there really are other things that go out there. But what I'm saying is, Bobby, with the Kevin Bacon thing, if he's watching videos of me from doing comedy 8 years ago on my YouTube channel, that means he's also now watching us. So now you will probably now be part of the dabbleverse.
Oh, nothing more I love than getting dragged into battle by your master.
This is why I was like, can we do a podcast today so I can let you know
But
that.
no. Hey man, I'm cool. Kind of like that song Eminem wrote, like Toy Soldiers. I didn't think I just inherited 50's beef with Murder Inc., but he's inherited mine, which is fine. Ain't like either of us mine. Let's go murder some motherfuckers.
I don't know the song, but I like the quote. Now, I don't want to murder anybody.
No, me neither.
Nor
I'm just
do I
saying.
want to fight anybody.
Yeah, and I really hope John doesn't challenge me to a fight, because I'd have to turn that down like a pussy real fast. So I really hope he doesn't do anything like that. I'd look real bad.
If we boxed and it was for like charity, not that I would raise. That's the thing. He's the only person that has a name. I don't have any name. I mean, at this moment, I'm in more comedy clubs than Stuttering John is, and I'm not shitting on him. He just doesn't do stand-up comedy, and I do. Now, one of the insults I saw somebody write was, "Oh, Pat Oates, Mr. Foxwoods." Now, I'm sorry, but that doesn't seem like an insult.
It's a fucking compliment.
It's, first of all, not even the casino I'm at anymore. But yes, for a while, I was the house comedian there at one of the biggest casinos in the world. But
Yeah, you had a regular gig doing this thing most people dream about doing. Yeah, it's fucking terrible.
And I've also
was
never
thinking-
bragged and said I'm the best comedian ever or do all these. I'm very honest with who I am. But at the same time, I like a good back and forth. And I like making fun of things. And I also, as I've proven from the WATP thing and on this show many times and in all my act, the best person I can make fun of and laugh the most at is me.
Okay.
So
I thought it was a certain minority group, but I guess
me, and then the second part is Gurr. But yeah, I guess challenge accepted. I haven't seen anything yet. I don't know if anyone that watching has seen anything. Any comments there? It might be nothing more than him doing that. Here's the thing, and this is how I really feel. This is not me trying to be like humble or get out of things or whatever. I'm boring. Now, I'm not saying that I'm not a good person. I'm not, no one knows. But I'm not these guys who go off on craziness. And I don't go. I mean, I literally left Twitter because it's not just who I am. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't go after all that. I'm on stage. I make fun of things to do whatever. On this show, we say wild things. But I'm not someone who's always on the angry attack. Especially in the last couple of years, I'm literally somebody who takes a breath and does all the, and is more calmer. More of the Bob Levy approach, where it's like, stop first, think about things, whatever, than just screaming and attacking. So I would believe that if he started making fun of me, most people would go, boring, he's a nobody, who's Pat Oates, next. And then if he's not getting more views and more money for shitting on something, he's going to go away from that and shit on something that makes more sense, something that people care about, like a Chad or something like that. You know what I mean? So I don't even think I'm worthy of the verbal assault that I guess John could lay out on.
yeah, no, we definitely aren't worthy, and he shouldn't do that. That'd be terrible.
Because it would be
really-
terrible.
Yeah, I really hope it would be. I really hope he doesn't do something like tell all of his fans to watch our stuff to try to find stuff to make fun of.
Yeah, like if the worst thing they could do, like seriously, Bobby, I know you're kind of joking, whatever, but the worst thing they could do is literally go through hours and hours of our shows that don't really get a lot of views anyway. Watch them all the way through, each one individually, looking for things, playing them over and over, possibly getting us so many views that we're monetized.
Well, there was that one video where you said that super revealing thing about halfway through about yourself. You said, "I hope."
Scotty, what's up, buddy? I was on with him. He's one of Bobby's guys. He was on the show the other day. He's fucking great. What's up, Scott?
Scott.
Fucking funny, dude.
I was saying, I hope no one goes through, because remember, like, that middle of us doing this together, you did that one episode where in the middle you said that 10-second thing where you're like, boy, thank God nobody watches this, or it'd be super mortifying, and anybody who wanted to be an enemy could use it against me.
Yeah, and I remember
So I
that
hope
one
they don't
time,
go find that.
and that one time you were like, man, it's crazy that no one's ever thought that this is the guy who killed Martin Luther King. That was, I think, episode 56. But, like, no one really brings that up. But, like, that was kind of cool that you did. But it was
no,
it was
there
revealing.
that one which this is going to be really hard to find, where I say some really sexist stuff. Like, they're really going to have to go through and find some women hating on me.
Man, I mean, if you guys want to play a game where it's like the needle in the haystack, go through all our podcasts and see if Bobby ever mentions a girl in Jamaica. But seriously, Bobby, ready?
Yeah.
Who's the piece of shit in this story? Is it me for going on a show that shits on people and shitting on someone when I'm the kind of guy who's like, hey, everybody should just do their own thing and have fun, whatever. I watch all these shows, even when I'm on those shows. Like, for example, as I've said to you, and some people are, I am a big fan of Kevin Brennan. I enjoy what he does. Once in a while when they're on that show, they'll be like, oh, Pat Oates said something, we should send him the link. And I would like, no, I'll never go on there because that show is all about the anger and shitting on everyone. And I don't want that, but I love what they do and I love watching it. Like, my favorite collaboration of the MLC universe is when Bob and Kevin were together and they would shit on Chad. It was gold. It was like the greatest thing you could do. Like, they did it so well. I would never want to be on that show. So even when I'm on Carl's show and he's like, they're making jokes about Kevin Brennan, not that I just say I won't do it. I'll make a joke, but I'm always like, I love Kevin. I think he's great. So like, I don't shit on him. Watching what John was talking about, he was attacking other people. So I was observing that and then making jokes back on a show that does those things. So if I'm not someone that normally does that and I kind of just went with the group in like maybe a peer pressure fun way, am I the piece of shit for doing that? Is it John for like, hey, I've got to go after every person who's ever said anything whatever, but also at the same time, he's trying to put out content and he's probably made fun of everyone else so much. He's like, all right, fuck it. This guy for real is saying weird shit about me. Why is he making assumptions? I don't know this man. All these other guys, at least they have shows and they've established that their whole income is making fun. Now, at least I can say, and I'm not shitting on any of them, but maybe this will be the one point that John goes, oh, he has a point. I did it for the love of the game. I don't get paid to be on these shows. I've even talked on podcasts saying I think it's weird that people pay their guests on podcasts. This is something where you're supposed to go on, and the whole thing is someone's platform is allowing you to let their world know who you are. It doesn't matter how many fans they are. We're not at that level to do that. Yeah, I know now we're in a world of like super chats and things like that, and they're like, Now, for example, I will use Stuttering John as an example. When Stuttering John left the world of all this dabbleverse for a while and people didn't know he was gone, they didn't know if he was going to come back, and they had to find other things to make fun of. When he was announcing that he might come back, there was like a bidding war to see who could have him on a show because everybody wanted to see what he was going to say and then yell and shit on them. And Kevin Brennan paid him, I want to say it was like $3,000 to be on the show. Now, he would make more than that in super chats. And now, therefore, when John would go on shows shortly after that, people would go watch the show more to shit on him. Like Opie, if Opie ends up going on a Brennan or one of these shows, which he never does, they would have to say we're splitting the super chats or giving you more because people would go there to write hate. But they'd be writing more hate than normal because he's on there. So he's a draw to it. I'm just being asked to be a co-host or a guest or whatever and then have a fun time and joke around on the internet with people and have a fun time, busting ribs or whatever the fuck the saying is. You know what I mean? Busting chops or burying the ribs. That's another one. Bury ribs goes on there. Just on people. So I don't do it for the money like a lot of people that do. And so I'm just there for the love of the game. I'm not going on there to get paid to be a shithead. I was just having fun. John, at least, is doing this to make money. He's getting super. Even when people just pay him to be a dick to him, they're still paying him. You know what I mean? So it's that. Is it people?
A blowjob's still a job.
Is it the people? The dabbleverse. The people that are like, we want to watch train wrecks 24/7. And we're going to spend our hard-earned money and tip these. It's basically internet bum fights. I mean, you're watching people yell at each other for money. Like, I'll give you 50. There's this guy, like David Chandler, his name is, or whatever, and he goes to all these shows and he gives them hundreds of dollars. He's just like there's one guy named Deadfool, and every time Stevie Lou, a friend of ours, every time Stevie Lou is on Kevin Brennan show, Deadpool will show up and pay a certain amount to make Stevie leave. He'll say, Kevin, if I give you $350, Stevie has to leave the show right now. And then Stevie knows and goes, all right, bye guys, see you later. And controls the show. Now, Kevin gives Stevie some of that money, so it's well worth it, whatever. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's fine. But all these guys are now making money, like Ray DeVito, Chad Zuma, all these people are, and even the lower levels, the ones like a Joey C, which you probably don't even know who that is, but he's a guy in the little world that gets yelled at and stuff, and kind of came in because he just started screaming and yelling. It was weird. And puppets, and they're all making tip money. They're all private dancers dancing for money to appease the Roman emperors, throwing money down at them as they fight the lions. So is it them for doing that? Or is it you two for not just shutting this down? Because it's a train wreck. Who is it?
So it's not you.
Okay.
Like you said, you're a hired gun. You're on a podcast. If it was John that you're making fun of that day, it was John. If it had been the POS show, you would have made fun of the POS show with the same veracity. You know what I mean? Like, you were doing what you're supposed to. You're a comedian who was doing it to make fun. It's not Stuttering John. He attacked you wrong, but he's in a position where everybody's just taking a shot at him. He's literally the go-to guy that everybody shits on. So he sees another guy making fun of him. He's just swinging blindly.
He's literally he's Jesus of this religion. He is. He's the one who was killed for, and is dying for the sins. All the followers, even one side or the other, are all doing it in the dabbleverse. It's not the Brennan verse. It's not the Shuley verse. It's the dabble. And who's the dabbler? John.
And at least he's getting some money for it. But it's kind of like this. If you're getting jumped, right, like 10 guys on one, and somebody comes to break up the fight, they might get hit with a straight punch by you just because you think he's coming. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm not going to blame John specifically. I don't blame the dabbleverse. It exists. People have their money, do what you want with it. And particularly the guys like Corndiff or Tukey the Puppet. Like, that add their own creative take and do something to show off creativity. Like, great. That's a way for you to showcase some talents you might not see otherwise. That I think it's fantastic.
And what I like, too, is not the okay, what especially the to your name, Tukey, people like that. Even Melton, they have taken advantage of this, but they do it in a segment, and then they get... Carl is the best example of that. Carl is getting you in with the I make fun of Stuttering John. But his show leads with, we are going to make fun of podcasts. That's what I'm doing. So it's when I was on there, we made fun of a podcast about fat, gay chub chasers. And then we didn't even talk about John in this one. We talked about Opie and stuff like that. And it was finally up this late. I don't have to get up at 4:30 to teach kids because of the week break. What's up, Mr. Funny Hands? How are you, sir? It's Mr. Pants, if you will. So I like when people do that. Now, I'm not shitting on anyone, but when someone's only thing they do is just shitting on him, I think that you're not showing you have any other talent to do anything.
With certain exceptions of the guys who he worked with personally, who most of them are doing other things as well, but like even when Shuley leans into it a little more, okay, those two had a personal relationship, like good for it.
And as much as everyone says they don't, Shuley, it does do other things. They have a whole universe. Now, they really lean into it. They do Uncle Rico. They're not making fun of him. They just make fun of people all the time. But it's a talent they have. Shuley was a roast guy. Levy was a roast guy. You know what I mean? Like, it's what they... Mike Morris gets made fun of, but he's a great writer. And he feeds all those things in there. And I think even your boy, what's his name, Zenhauser, I haven't watched him. I think he's part of that world now, too. I think he's on that show. Look at these two philosophers. Oh, look at Chris. Pat, awesome job hosting Ant's show a few days back. And Bobby, always a great job doing the shit you do. Bobby, I always say that. The shit you do, you do well.
I do so well. So for me, to sum it up pretty simply, the person who's the piece of shit in this story is Ross Ellis.
Ross Ellis. Now, I don't know who that is. You're going to have to now do a deep dive for that. And Mr. Funny Hands, I am doing great because you're here. And Actually, the most people that ever watched it. That's how bad this show is. Now, Bobby, what I'd like to know is, and I don't know this, in their world that we're talking about before you get to Ross Ellis, this is another one I should have nominated for the POS, but yours is Ross Ellis. And when I got to mine, but it would have been the people that snipe, that they don't even do a show. They just play another show and then kind of say something in the back. Now, some people do great content. Some people do a mystery science. Patrick Melton does a great mystery science theater. He sits there to the side. He shits on it. He's funnier than the other shows sometimes. But some people, like Chad Zuma, a lot of times will just stand there like this and go, yeah, stupid, dumb, whatever. Somebody right now, to show John what we're talking about, to say if we're saying anything, might be sniping us right now. Hello. Go ahead. Who's Ross Elliott?
No, kind of. You're kind of getting right to the point with Ross Ellis. Ross Ellis started the Stomp Out Bullying campaign, which turned into the International Anti-Bullying campaign. And, I mean, to hate as a group is innate as a human being. Like, it's literally a tale as old as time. The oldest book we know is
Beauty and the Beast?
No. Gilgamesh, the Epic of Gilgamesh, where Gilgamesh was this king who just kept fucking up bad guys, but like wouldn't listen to his people. So you know what they did? They found a wild beast to fight him. Like, it's just, you know what I mean? Like, it's about hatred. The Scarlet Letter.
Who's the wild beast in our story?
In our story?
Am I the pretty princess and John is the wild beast?
Well, no, it was a king versus a beast.
I want
a princess in our story.
I want to be the princess.
Well, then I think that makes you the king. I don't know the metaphor.
I am the king.
But what I mean by that is, like, even the Scarlet Letter, right? Like,
but by the way, John, I called you Jesus earlier, just to be fair.
Justified shaming, like, it's something everybody can get behind.
What is justified shaming?
So we have these rules where you're like, you're not allowed to be mean, you're not allowed to be hateful, except now you are. I mean, this isn't new groundbreaking. The idea that, like, you're not allowed to bully, but if there's somebody who says something a little racist on Twitter, we all pile on and cancel his job is like a phenomenon everybody's talking about, right? But it's this idea that we've, as a society, you're not allowed to make fun of people in day-to-day life or point out, like, quirkiness. So when you find an opportunity where you're allowed to hate or you're encouraged to hate even, it's addicting. Like, it's an endorphin rush. And what's developed is this. Kind of like you were saying with those guys who just snipe. Now, I'm not saying the ones you specifically said because I haven't watched enough to know, but, like, the new thing is just to shit on other people who are trying and not to try. Like,
now, for example, I didn't watch the breakdown of it, but they chose a clip of my stand-up, right? Now, I didn't listen to it, but I know the clip. It's actually so old, the clip. It's from Caroline's, which no longer exists. Yes. Now, that Caroline's clip is the one I get booked off of. So they can make fun of it all they like. I still send it to them. Now, the jokes are so old. It's from jokes getting ready for my first album, which, yes, I have several albums.
You know what I say about Caroline?
Sweet.
She's the reason for the word bitch.
What?
Bitch.
I don't know that song.
Roses by Outkast?
I know his flute playing. No.
You like to think your shit.
Susan Sarandon at her dumbass booted from like every gig she has today by opening her mouth like an idiot.
But,
yes. Yeah. I am Susan Sarandon.
So just to finish up this tangential point I've gone on here. Yeah, it is pack mentality, but the idea is we've fostered a society.
Read what he wrote.
Pack mentally.
I know what he meant, but that's way better.
It got me mentally.
Dude, if you and I were wolves, we'd be in pack mentally.
I do that.
We are wolf-tarded. Hashtag wolf-tarded.
Yeah, no, like we've literally, it's become don't do something. Just shit on other people who are trying to do something. And the reality is, even in that dabbleverse, like, I'm not throwing stones, but the hype isn't real. It's wave surfing. Like, and I love all those guys in it. They're all talented individuals. Especially
I do not love all of them.
I respect the effort.
No,
that
I'm
they
not.
put
I'm
in.
not stopping you from what you're saying. I'm saying
I
I
get what
don't
you're
know most of them, so I cannot therefore have love for them.
That's a
I
fair
respect
point.
some of them. Some of them I do not. Some of them I'm like, you literally talk all the time about this ability you have to be. They constantly are saying, some of them, that they're this great stand-up, and they call everyone else out on their stand-up all the time, or judge others when they've never done anything without other shows elevating them and putting them in a position where people stared at them because they had an association to a thing. But then therefore
Very
they
fair
want to
point.
yell and do stuff. Other people have worked hard, had a talent, then got hired on those shows from the talent, and then afterwards continued to show said talent or grow from the talent. People can say what they want and they can say I'm kissing ass. Carl from Who Are These Podcasts has literally put together a real radio show that he does on there. It's a legitimate show where he does tons of research and shows talent for being able to produce a show. We talked about Bobby Fran earlier. Bobby Fran produces a show. Some of these people are now just like, I can make money by yelling and being mean. So they literally just go on a camera and just have no plan or no anything and just shit on people. And they know they're getting money from people who hate them, but would rather, it's almost like Flashdance, like show your tits. Like, I don't want to show my tits. Like, all right, hit my tits. And they're just doing it and being a whore. So I don't love and respect those people.
Yeah.
Anyway, Bobby, continue.
No, I think that's a good point. What I meant by it was like the ones you mentioned in particular, the main players. Like, I think those guys.
Me
are
too,
all
buddy.
good
We talked about that.
comedians.
Yes.
You know, like I think they would do their own thing if it wasn't John. They'd find something else to make entertain people with.
Well, when John left for a while, that was the question. John actually, at one point, was so full of himself in a way that he said, I'm going to leave. He announced it on a Joey C show. And Joey C was a guy that was begging to be on everyone's shows. He begged for a long time to be on Kevin Brennan's show. And then he hated Kevin Brennan. He begged to be on Shuli's show. Then he hated Shuli. So then he became best friends with Stuttering John. Now they hate each other too. But he announced on there, I'm leaving. Because they tried to strike my channel, so I'm leaving. Now what are you going to do? Now you're going to make no money? None of you can make money without me. And then I think he realized he couldn't make money without it either, and he came back 2 weeks later.
Yeah. So. Yeah, I guess what I was like, what you have to do, and what something I need to work on is evolving past caring, and just making things you enjoy. That's really the key to being happy, especially in entertainment. But I think life in general, I'm coming to learn. Like, if you are worried about what, like, 5 people with 17 different accounts say on Twitter or Instagram, or, you know what I mean? Like, you're going to be miserable because you're going to always focus on the negative. But if you truly put an effort into making a product you enjoy and you appreciate, then it doesn't really matter what other people say. And again, I am terrible at that. I've got the literal bruises on my knuckles now to prove it from the walls I've hit. You know what I mean? But, like, that's something
yes.
I've identified as, this is what I need to do, is stop giving a fuck. Like, that's the next step in my evolution, is not caring unless if I enjoy it. As you can see, I'm in my NASA suit because I'm leaving this universe.
Yeah, you're going for a Sally ride. I'm at that point, and you and I have discussed that, where it's like, I'm having a good time. Like, I am very comfortable in who I am. Am I a well-known, established, traveling the country comedian? No. But when I go on stage, has any place ever said, nope, you're not any good? No. And people can back it up. You can ask comedians who are well-known if they know who I am, and they will. Not that I'm bragging who I am, but I literally do this for a living. Am I rich? In no ways, in any way, shape, or form. I am struggling. Am I a little too old to be struggling? Some might say. I'd rather be happy and kind of broke than be fucking doing something I hate and being a schmo. And no offense to anyone that's watching, I don't mean to sound like a dick. I'd much rather be the guy saying stupid shit and be broke than the guy who's got a ton of money, throwing money at them because he just wants to, for 1 second, live in their shoes because they're living a freer life than they are. And I've always said, my mission statement in life is I want to make my obituary cooler. I've done the dumbest shit there is. I've been on TV, on a reality show, pretending my mother was dead. I've I've been on theaters and open up for big name comics and stuff like that. I've gotten to sit down next to Anthony goddamn Cumia, a man who was the announcer for the Tonight Show, broke down my comedy today. The weird doors open all the time, and I've done all kinds of dumb shit. I've met famous people. I've been a house comedian at awesome places. I have a good fucking time with life and joy. And I get to do a podcast that people say no one watches, but it's one of my best. You and I have talked about our best times of the week. Dude, what's up, Brian? How are you, my friend? Yeah. We get to have a great time, you and I, because we're friends and we don't get to see each other. It's like our therapy in doing this, as opposed to my actual therapy, but it's something I enjoy doing. I wanted to do radio, so what did I do? I asked when I was a guest on shows, can I be on radio? And I did. My whole life, I've just asked to do things and I get to do them. Yeah, I struggle with things that people say that they think it's important to them. Yeah, it'd be cool if we made money doing this, but I'm not going to sacrifice it by now going down a route of let's just do what everyone else does. Because A, if we wanted to, you and I, in the way we write and do things, could be very mean. But we actually have things called hearts. And I don't think we could handle it. I would stress out. And I would feel bad. And I would by attacking or going the route you don't need to go. But do I have fun sometimes going on a show and shitting on something because it's not real to me? Yeah, I do. And am I going to stop now because someone made fun of me and shared a video of me performing? Nope. Because it's a good fucking time. And it's silly. A puppet watched a show watching a stutterer talk about my act. That's some Forrest Gump shit.
That's pretty funny.
Right?
Yeah, when you break it down like that.
Think about it. When you're on your compound media and you're sitting there, men who are basically retarded and have had their penises touched to see if they get hard on a famous morning show walk in and say hello to you. Yes, you just know them now, but they used to be the famous retard on a show, and now you know them. Yeah, that's crazy.
Extorted by that guy for money.
By Bobo?
Yeah. We finished the show. The Eastside Dave show. He just came up and was like, "Hey, September," and I was like, "This was like in October." I was like, "What's up?" And he's like, "Yeah, you never paid me for September." And I was like, "What?" He was like, "Yeah. You're supposed to reimburse me." So I can't leave until I get that.
Wait, he's supposed to get paid?
Well, that was the thing. Nobody said he would, but he just a month after the show was like, "Yep, I'm getting paid." And
yeah, all these guys think they get paid for appearances. Like you do nothing. You pee your pants sometimes. Now, Brian, real quick, Brian's thing here. If you get noticed by Stuttering John, that means you're better than him.
Well, then I would say that's good for.
But what does that mean?
I think it means that Stuttering John doesn't punch you down; he only punches up.
No, I think I think John got mad because a guy he doesn't know is like, all right. John was like you brought before the thing about if 6 guys are beating someone up and the 7th guy walks in and throws a kick. He's like, he's almost not mad at the 6 guys. He goes, they've been kicking me. He's like, who the fuck is this 7th guy? I don't recognize that sneaker. John has every right to go, what the fuck? Why are you saying I got molested? I don't know you. I was just being on his show. If John asked me to come on his show and showed me videos of someone else that lit shit on him, you know me, I like having a good time. If it's structured well and we can I love being a sniper. If I can make those jokes and do that, I will. Now, people make fun of me all the time. By the way, getting back to what you said, Bobby, about the enjoying ourselves and you're saying I have to be able to do things. The number one shit on me more than anything in the world is that I laugh. I laugh at my own jokes. I laugh at other people. I laugh all the time. I have a stupid laugh. And I always laugh at that because it's like, you're telling me you're mad because I'm enjoying myself. I'm laughing when I say something funny. If I don't find it funny, that means that these people are saying things that they don't find fun. Well, I don't laugh. Why are you serious? Once you're serious with it, you're a psychopath. If you're not having fun, it's not good-natured ribbing. If you're not laughing at it, you're just a fucking serial killer.
Yeah, I want to be very clear. This is not about any individual in particular in this universe. This is just a comment in general. But there's nothing sadder than watching somebody who got into comedy because they liked mocking
Real
the
quick,
guy.
Brian, not to be a dick, I don't want to go down that route. If John wants to talk to anyone, he can. You don't need to message him, go into his world anymore. I'm not dodging it in any way, shape, or form. I just don't think it's worth it. I think John had every right to retaliate and do something. Like I'm literally saying on there. I was a guy who was on a show shitting on him. Like, who the fuck am I? He can do whatever. By me, I hate to say it, by me doing that, I become them. Because John will draw me numbers. John will come on here and he'll say, I'm going to go shit. And people go, holy shit, John's yelling at Pat Oates and Bobby Tamburo. And then people go, who? Those fucks? And then we'll be on here and then John will draw his views and do things. And then I'm exploiting like everyone else is. So I wouldn't do that. If John wanted to speak to me somewhere else in a place where I can't take advantage of it, I definitely would. But I don't want to take advantage of the thing he has built by either being a moron or maybe he's a work and a genius. Who maybe he's Andy Kaufman this whole fucking time. Maybe him and Carl and Shuley and Kevin Brennan are all the Illuminati of the dabbleverse, and they've all set this up, and it's all fake. Whatever it is, I would never want him to come on here and then me be able to take advantage. Not that I can make money off it. We're not even monetized, but to do that. Hey-o. But no, I wouldn't want to do that. And I wouldn't want to bother him when he's not doing anything else. If he ever wanted to speak to me about something, he was like, hey, what the fuck? I would have a conversation and I would say, hey, can we watch what you talk about and tell me if this wasn't you? You wouldn't make fun of it and what you're saying. You wouldn't make fun of what you do. You know you're this, because he believes what he's doing is humor, but some people believe it's cringe. And therefore, that's what you're doing. Same with me. When some people say Pat's very funny. And some people go, Pat just laughs and he's stupid and he says stupid shit. I had someone just say, he's boring. And I was like, okay. I give it a thumbs up on someone's thing. All right, you find me more. But then 10 people said I'm like one of their favorite guests on who are these top 3 guests or the GOAT. And another guy wrote, said, oh, they're covering a show about fat gays. That's ironic you have Pat on since he's a fat gay. I'm not, but that's funny. Like that's a funny thing to say. He's a fat gay. Isn't comedy all just being a work? I mean, kind of. I mean, a work in the real. I know they've all just taken on this term, Brian, in the dabbleverse, and they all just say work all the time, which is like a fake thing. But a work is from wrestling, and it's supposed to be we're pretending something. It seems like it's a real argument and fight, but they really don't hate it. Like the famous hacksaw Jim Duggan, Iron Sheik. They're supposed to be good guy and bad guy. Then they got pulled over smoking weed in a fucking convertible. You know what I mean? So they were friends and they got suspended and stuff and they got demoted in their ranks and things because they ruined the kayfabe surprise. When I go on stage, Bobby can attest to this. I mean, Bobby's kind of too, but I'm 100% me on stage. I'm the same exact human being on stage and off. I don't have a character. I don't even prepare or do. I mean, obviously I write jokes and do whatever, but I'm not the guy who's stretching or staring at notes. I go up and I'm me. I have jokes I want to tell, but I also talk to the crowd and do whatever. So it's basically the same thing all the time. I'm the same guy on stage and off. The only difference is I'm actually more comfortable talking to 400 people than I am one-on-one. Which is a weird thing in life, and I'm more comfortable that way. Oh, we skipped over our boys. What's up there, buddy? What's going on, boys? How are you? Bobby.
Anyway, what I was trying to say was, back 10 minutes ago.
Sorry.
No, it's not your fault. The chat in our ADD is not good.
No, I'm ranting.
No. I get it, and then the comments come up. But what I was trying to say, and maybe again, this isn't anyone in particular, but there's nothing sadder than watching somebody who got into comedy, myself included, to mock the guys, the bully manager. That was why you decided to be a comedian, because there was somebody in a position of power making fun of the small guy, right? And then they've become the guy who now is in the position of power, just mocking and shitting on the little guy. Or if you had a show where it was super funny and you could just kind of take the ball and run with anything, and somebody said a phrase, and that now became a new bit that you went into for 30 minutes, and it's just become, now we should, there's nothing sadder than that, because it's what happened? do you really care that much about watching the numbers tick up a little bit that you have no creative integrity whatsoever anymore? And so
If it's
for
the
me,
only
like,
way you're making money, I think so.
yeah, that's my point. Like that, I think that's incredibly sad. It's like the reason you didn't go get an office job, Pat, and put in your 40 years and get the gold watch when you retired was you wanted the freedom to do whatever you want, not be a slave to $1. And now you're in a position.
And also, I'm a bit of a tard. I know what I am. This personality can't be in that world, and I can't do it. But we're gonna get to the other ones in a second. But this is a question I've been asked, Bobby, on a podcast. This person has asked other people, and now you get to answer this question. If Bobby has a gay monkey on his back, would he leave it there or beat it off?
That's a tough one because you're probably going to get AIDS either way.
You can't get AIDS from beating off a monkey.
That's how we originally got gay.
No, you'd have to swallow the jizz. What?
I just told you my hand.
Just rubbing the cock?
My knuckles are all bloody from punching walls and shit, Pat. There's going to get jizz in the knuckles. I'm going to get AIDS either way.
You have one vote for beat it off.
As long as it wasn't inside of me. I think I would just.
That wasn't an option. Getting monkey
I'm
fucked.
saying, as long as the being on my back isn't slang for the monkey having mounted me, I'm gonna leave it on my back.
I watched Bobby stand up in Vineland. He did amazing. Had an awesome night, Bobby.
Well, thank you. Brian's a nice guy. I would say he is a liar, but he's a very nice guy.
You know, it's not a liar. It's
No,
Stormy. Stormy's awesome. And Stormy says it seems like a constant eggplant measuring contest. Now,
Yes,
Bobby and I can't. Well, Bobby and I can't. I mean, that's the wrong emoji for us. But all right. Oh, I'm sorry. Bobby's hung like a monster.
Like
my
if it was-
bad.
Is there a pumpkin?
Is there a tuna can?
This is
That's what I have.
100% a change of pace. But I saw the most terrifying and insulting thing in the world at CVS. And you leave this comment up while I describe this.
Yes.
It is
Cool.
like
And by the way, thank you, Stormy, and hi.
a way too descriptive. Like, all right, when you buy pants, right, there's a length and a width. But then if you go to like a super nice tailor where they've got like the inseam and all that stuff, they make condoms like that now. Where it's
Yeah.
like, oh, you need the extra wide.
Eh,
And then it's like,
girth.
just, yeah. But it says it on the fucking box.
Right.
So now you have to go up to the counter with the one that's like 9 inches extra wide.
All right, we aren't the podcast that talks about penis.
No, but
I
why
need
would
girth.
you,
I don't have length. I got girth, baby. I'm like an 8-ounce Coke can.
I'm all right. Yeah. I'm
No,
also
and if
not-
that sounds like a brag, then I'm making it 8 ounces too big. No one's ever complained
but
until afterwards when they broke up with me. They're like, "We hate
you're
you."
an old school before we entered this new 3D printing condom bullshit, where a guy like you with little extra girth but not so much length, what condom did you have to rely on?
Is this the part where I reveal I've never worn a condom?
Oh, well, dude, congratulations. But you haven't fucked the dirty bitches I have.
No, I'm very picky in the people I put my penis in.
Yeah. When you have to ask the question like, God, this doesn't feel the same as I remember before. Who else was in here?
Dude, when I was on the fucking Bobby Fran show, there's a guy on the show, Bobby Nick, and he went down to a girl and tasted chunks, and I was like, "Yo," and they were like, "What is that? Chunks?" But I think some other guy came in her first.
But
Bobby, you get monkeypox. That's the
I
answer.
saw that, yeah. If I was in a position where I needed to wear a condom, which was a lot, you would have to get a Magnum, and then you could do that thing you do with your pants, where you just roll the base in. But at least you've got the fucking condoms, you know? You got that box.
No one has ever painted a better picture than Chris just did.
That's fair.
Like an unwound plumber snake. God damn, Bobby. That would be dragging on the ground for you.
That would be, that reminds me of my favorite Earl David Reed joke. You know why black guys don't have truck nuts?
Why don't black guys have truck nuts?
Because our shit be hanging on the ground.
I thought it's because they would steal them from each other. When Bobby tells a
each
chick
other's
his
nuts?
size, yes.
That's the most terrifying thing ever.
Yeah.
That's what you should do to. Boy, I hope John doesn't fight us.
I'm going to take your nuts, bitch. I'm going to hold your balls in my hand.
Jesus Christ.
When Bobby tells the chick his size, she thinks he's talking in centimeters.
Sometimes you try to fly a porn star out for Thanksgiving to irritate your family, and then they just don't show up.
I wore a condom twice in my life, and I'm 50. I'm 49, Brian, so I'll try to wear 2 this year to keep up with it.
Sometimes they break when you're putting them on.
Now,
2 out in one night.
I guess I should make this clear. I'm not someone who says I won't. I'm also not someone who's like, I'm walking around with condoms. I'm going to have all the sex. When I have sex with someone, it's because I'm dating. I don't really do one night stand. I get into relationships, or I at least intend to when I sleep with them. And it happens to be a couple times. Maybe it's not a full relationship, but enough times where it's whatever. And it's never me saying no. If the person was like, if you don't wear a condom, we're not having sex, then okay, we're not. I would either like, okay, we'll have to go to the store and get condoms, or we're just not having sex. I just never been told I had to. I've never been with gross people. But if you're gross out there and you want to test me, you're attractive.
Which is kind of back to my point, Pat, okay? There are people who fuck gross chicks, and then there are people who make fun of people who fuck gross chicks.
Yeah, I make fun of people who fuck gross chicks.
Yeah, and I'm going to be proud of being the guy who doesn't deal with your judgment, and I'm just out there for fucking chicks. That's what I'm working on.
Right, but that's how this works. Or yin and yang. My yin and your gross yang.
I got to lose the ego. I'm working on it.
Have you ever fucked anybody? Have you ever gotten our STD?
No.
Never? Then you haven't fucked gross chicks.
No, I fucked a chick with an STD. I just danced.
How do you know you didn't have it? You got tested?
I got a fucking blood test afterwards.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
That's
I was
hot.
sitting at... No, it's not. I remember, like, I was waiting for the phone call back. Oh, God.
Dude. I don't like that word. I don't like the word coagulated in any way, shape, or form. Yes, BF and those guys are awesome. Bobby is great. And also, Bobby, what's great about it, too, for me, a guy who does comedy at night and then radio some mornings, on Mondays, they do the show from 12 to 3. I'm like, he goes, are you available? I go, I could be on every fucking week. It's like, that's sometimes my nap time. And it was so, he goes, you can sit in for a little bit. They first half hour, they just talk about other shit. I was on like 12:30. I stayed on right till fucking 3, man. We had a fucking blast. Those guys are fun. Go check them out, man. They're fucking funny as fuck. Yeah, wait, do you... Oh, no. No, Stormy. You think he ate remnants of other baby? Wait, you just mean jizz, or you mean... Is baby gravy jizz, or does he mean a baby died inside this woman and he's eating the seepage? Or am I just grosser for thinking that?
I think you took that a step further. I think baby gravy is just some jizz.
Oh, people eating seepage?
I mean, that is a certain practice some people are into.
No, who's rocking seepage?
I don't like doing that at all.
Jason, what's up, buddy? How are you, sir?
Host ejaculate.
Host ejaculate?
That's what, like, there are guys who like to come in women and then eat the cream pie out.
When I was in college, we had a guy on our rugby team, and his name was Milky Mark.
The fact that I said that, I'm going to tell you right now, I don't want to know what follows.
Milky Mark was his nickname after this story. And he was just regular Mark before. But this one guy fucked this girl in a room where everybody kept their coats and stuff. And they were all drunk when they were partying. And they fucked, and then the guy left the room, and the girl was still laying in the bed butt naked. And I guess Mark walked in, saw her there. Now, everyone has always said this was consensual because she was kind of like, come here, kind of drunk. And then the first thing he did was, not knowing someone else just fucked her, went down on her and ate her out, and therefore was Milky Mark. So that's Bobby Nick. He's just like that.
No me gusta. But I remember waiting for a test back, like right as the pandemic started, and my family decided to play a game of
Go ahead, sorry. I like that. It's like an order of herpes all around the team. For everybody there, I'm going to get your comments. I have to give Bobby my attention. The ADHD's not there. Go ahead, sir.
No, it's fine. I remember we were playing cards, and my dad, like, bluffed. And I just called it right away, and he's like, how'd you know? And I was like, if you knew the gambles I'm taking elsewhere in my life, like, these chips are fucking nothing.
When I was in college, there was this girl, very pretty girl, and she had told me, she's like, I
Let's
do
not
have.
that comment anymore, just in case.
Oh.
This is what YouTube makes the screenshot.
Yeah, there you go. I forgot.
Let's go to maybe just baby gravy equals cum. Let's click on that one.
Oh, know what? Here is the one that we'll take the screenshot for all day. And that's not even a negative statement. We're just saying, gays, we want you to be safe.
Okay.
You fucking butts.
Here's my issue with that one.
Your fucking mouths. What that mouth do?
It's factually inaccurate.
What?
Yeah, dude, condoms are terrible for butt sex.
Man butts?
Any kind of butt.
You ever fuck a man butt?
No.
Then you don't fucking know.
No, I do.
Maybe it's what you need for a man butt. I found out today by being on the radio show this morning that when you cook a turkey, the proper way to do it is not only put foil over the top, but put a saran wrap underneath that foil so it doesn't. And everyone's like, "Whoa, doesn't the plastic melt?" Like, no, the plastic actually heats up and goes onto the foil and traps in the moisture even more. And maybe inside a man's butthole or just like a turkey's cavity, when you shove a dick in there with rubber on it, man action and all that man heat, because men are hotter than women. Women don't get all the fun unless they're a big fat bitch. But if they're like a regular style lady and you get a man dick in there and it fucks it, maybe the condom helps heat up the penis and make everything better. I don't know. I'm just saying, if I was a gay scientist, that's what I would say.
Look, I don't want to bring this full circle, but maybe somebody was trying to lose their virginity and didn't know about the whole girth factor of condoms and just bought regular size, so that blood circulation wasn't quite there, and it made vaginal sex difficult. So the whore he was with was like, why don't you put it in my ass? And they've tried this. And they learned how difficult that is.
Did I tell you about the time I was hooking up with a chick for the first time, and she was laying on her stomach, and it was dark, and I wasn't paying attention, and I was telling her earlier, I'm like, I'm pretty vanilla, I'm not really like a kinky guy, whatever. And then I was like, I was pleasuring her with my fingers, if you will. And after a while, halfway through, and she was really screaming and going to town and loving it, she just goes, I thought you said you were vanilla. And that's when I learned I was fingering her asshole the entire
And you weren't wearing a condom.
with my finger?
Oh, I thought you were inside of her with your
No, I did not have sex with that woman. I touched her butthole. Now she was dirty and gross. No, I'm kidding.
If you had sex with her, though, in her butt, ejaculated, and it had dripped down and impregnated her, that's how you would get people like Stuttering John.
Do you want the greatest math equation of all times?
Oh, boy, there are so many you could go with here.
No, baby gravy equals cum.
Oh, yeah. That was the one I said to put up earlier.
Right, I know.
Yeah.
This is the nastiest story I ever heard. Milky Mark.
No,
He's got to be
that's
dead.
about the eating cum out of a woman.
That's Milky Mark.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Eating cum out of woman to me.
Back to finding your passion.
Now, wait, if a girl sucks your dick, you don't kiss her after?
No.
She doesn't keep. Not if she swallowed. First of all, I've never come in a woman's mouth. I don't know. I think that's disrespectful. But I like her. I'm pretty psyched. I'm pretty psyched that she let me do stuff to her.
Have you ever seen the Derrick Henry highlight tape?
No.
He was the king of the stiff arm. And I got to tell you, if a girl got
Mike
that
Allstott
hungry and came up to give me a kiss on the lips, she would get a Derrick Henry not today, man.
Wait, if a girl sucked your dick, but you didn't come in her mouth, so you were just sucking it for a while, then came back up, and you're getting ready to do more stuff, and she wanted to give you a kiss, you would say no, but she was wonderful enough to pleasure you with her mouth?
Right, but
what that mouth do?
People I respect. And now that you've had it.
Oh, you just did a Jim Jeffries joke. I was with him in the back of comics when he was like, I got this new bit. He goes, I got this. No, I know. But he said to me, I got this new bit. What do you think? And he goes, I could never have sex with a man because I could never fuck anything I respect. I go, you better go bring that on stage right now. He's like, all right.
What inspired that one is, have you heard the Mickey Mantle story? Like when he had to write his favorite moment at Yankee Stadium.
Yeah, I saw Jeff Dye talk about it on a clip somewhere. Yeah.
Oh, but he didn't know they were going to put it out.
Right.
Like, just read it at Stadium Day. And it was like, what was your favorite moment? And one day I got a Charlie horse, so I got a blowjob during the 7th inning under the scoreboard. The woman looked up to me and was like, what do I do? Do I spit or swallow? And I was like, I don't know. I'm not a cocksucker.
The Mick.
So they read that over the fucking, or they broadcast it over the fucking board.
Fucking a turkey. That's too big of a cavity. You must be a gifted man. Whoa, Showtime is just veered off the mountain. The van is on fire and rolling down the speed of light. Man-ass sex. Jesus Christ. Himself can't recover this topic. Chris, we can't just, like we said, we just talked about, if we just talk about Stuttering John the whole time, then we're just like the people that do it. So we had to go naturally where most of the people that watch those shows go after they watch Stuttering John to fucking each other in the ass. And that's when we lost all the viewers. So, question, Pat. When you found out you were fingering her butthole, did you smell your fingers immediately? No. I actually, I still don't have 100% confirmation, but the way she said it, maybe she was just like, oh, doing it the way I did it was not vanilla. I just assumed because she said you're not vanilla that I was just fingering your butthole. She's a very petite person. So, like, therefore, all their holes are the same. It's like small, like a bowling ball. Not a child. Yeah, Mike Allstott.
I'm going to pivot topics quick. So I've been...
Baby gravy.
You know how... Well, Scott, we're all waiting.
Yeah, Scott, is your shit hooked up? I don't even know what that means. Is he do our gay sex thing or is it something else? Anyway.
No, I think we wait till Scott shows up. I'm fucking invested, Scott. You got your shit hooked up or not? All right?
If it's so important that you can't just message each other. Well, first of all, they are messaging each other. No, I'm the idiot because we're such a shitty podcast and we aren't monetized. When people are monetized, they don't share the whole chat. I share everything because I just appreciate several people that are in there talking. What?
Okay. Well, Chris.
And Stormy, don't worry, you're not going to get that. Just that if you had missed it earlier, he was shitting on me, so therefore I was addressing it. But no, we will not be a show that shits on him. If it becomes a thing where he's shitting on me, I will talk about him shitting on me because I find that hilarious that people talk about me.
And just to reiterate, if he challenges us to a fight, we're both going to act like pussies. Yeah, I want you to read that. That's why I said that, so you had time to read what Chris wrote.
Well, I may as well join in. Fucked wife in ass in shower once. Pulled out, had a shit ball sitting on my dick. By the way, shit ball is like the worst visual of all times. Time literally stopped. Beat that shit. Literally. Wait, in the shower too, so you're just battling water and friction and you fucked the poop out of her. You know what, Chris? Good for you, my friend. Fucking the poop out of people. Because
it was his wife. You knew what she was eating. You knew she was blocked up.
But that's his wife, so therefore they still have such a great relationship that he could fuck her in the ass in the shower. So many people are just like, oh, just a hand job, whatever. They were still in love enough to have some nasty ass poop anal in the shower.
That's not how you prove you love me.
I'm not trying to prove I love you. I'm saying Chris and his wife.
You love me
I'm not fucking you in the butt ever. We couldn't. You're shorter. I'm taller. There's no butt fucking.
You know how I would? No, I'm just saying if you're a chick. You know how you prove you love me? Go fight with another chick who talks shit about me. That's how you prove. And win. I'm W. You're right. Get the W.
No, we got it right now. Ready? The answer.
He's working on it. All right, Scott. I'm glad we waited.
Well, Scott, you're going to have to update us. We need to know. What's the shit?
I was watching a guy.
Dude, I like that we're getting triggered. Brian, I experienced a Hershey kiss on my head of my... You get it. The Hershey kiss, that's also a poop? Or is a Hershey kiss you have shit in your mouth and you kiss someone? Are people eating shit? Did you hear about the guy in Florida a homeless guy, he shit on a dead possum and got arrested?
No.
Their cars were driving by. He just went right over a dead possum and shit on it. What if the possum was playing possum and jumped up and bit him in the asshole? That would have been nuts. Would you, Bobby, let a girl pee on you in the shower. Now, water's running. You've peed in the shower yourself.
No.
If she pees...
No.
Can
She's
girls
the
shoot
dog,
like that?
Not me.
Can they shoot like that? She'd have to lift a leg.
She's the dog, not me. Yeah. She's the one on the leash, Brian.
Sorry, Bobby. I just read your text. My timing was not impeccable. I'm sorry. Jesus Christ. Oh. You want more, Chris? The water helped the immediate cleanup. I pulled out. I said, hey, whoa. What, she's a horse? Whoa. Who the fuck says whoa? Nobody fucks anyone in the ass that says whoa. Whoa. What are you, Owen Wilson? Whoa. No one, you can't, dude, that's gay. Fucking someone in the butt and saying whoa is gay. She turned around.
Line more.
She turned around, she was like, oof. What are you guys, Batman cartoons? Whoa, oof, pow, Zammy. Jizz. Washed it down the drain, moved on with life. That's what are you guys in prison? I was making it all loving. You're like, we moved on in life. She went and made the kids lunch and I watched the show.
Chris, if you're still here, how long till you guys made eye contact again? Like, are you just at breakfast?
Like we still haven't.
Yeah. Like what? But I've been falling in a loop of gym / mental health things, and I genuinely think on Instagram it's because of ChatGPT. Because I've been asking it questions lately, and it's like, dude, please contact a mental health professional. And I'm like, they don't worry. They're like, you got to give it a shot, dude. But I saw one today. And
I'm only doing this because it's making you nuts.
No, I get it. And it was like a guy.
First of all, that sounds like the biggest version sentence I've ever seen. Women are known to explode. If you ever go near a woman and you touch her privates, she might make a little shuddering noise. I've heard women have vaginas. They're known to explode. Yeah, ladies do stuff.
I think that's typically Muslim women who are known to explode.
That was a very Stormy's classy. Some girls have that piss control. Hey, what I'll say is there, Bobby, that some of them girls there, they have that piss control. Some of these women, you got to find you a woman, Bobby.
Genuinely, what I hate most about the ADHD chat is I don't know if the laugh's for me or for what you're reading. And sometimes I think I'm killing, and it's you reacting to.
I will. Okay, so Brian's there. Let's get through these couple, and then I want to talk to you for comments before we get off the show. Would you let her pee on your feet if you had athlete's foot? No, I would buy medication that helps my athlete's foot. Why would I resort to pee? First of all, if you got athlete's foot, you're not cleaning your feet, so therefore adding more terrible things like urine is not a good thing. No. Well, you're in the shower. Why are you putting pee on you? Because then you got to put soap on. I don't want pee on me at all.
Well, okay.
So and I'm not peeing on anybody.
That is
deal
a home
breaker.
Remedy. That is a home remedy for athlete's foot because it's the acidity kills the fungus.
Fucking trash. They said it also helps jellyfish. Pee helps no one.
But if I have athlete's foot, there's only one product I'm using. Pat, do you know what it is?
R. Kelly?
No, it's BAM! Tough acting to acting.
Oh, boom! John Madden!
I'm John Madden from the grave. You know what killed me? Not athlete's foot. Morbid obesity. That's what took me out. I didn't see the blitz of cardiovascular disease coming.
All right. For 1 second, I'm going to hide all these. Bobby, do you have anything you'd like to share?
Nah, man.
I'm actually going to make it so I can't even see the comments for a second. Now, Bobby, okay, fine. Do you have nothing to share right there? I want to get back to what we started with at the beginning. I want to resolve this at the very
I
end.
actually do have a bit real quick.
Okay, let's do the
We can go
bit.
down it. Yeah.
But here we go. We're going to do the bit. Ready? Here. I'm going to try to do try to be like, channel my Bobby friend. I'm going to have plan. Ready? Mm-hmm. We're going to do the bit. I'm going to read the comments. And then I'm going to do my final wrap-up thing. And then we will bid everybody adieu. How about that?
During the adieu, I can give my final statements, almost as if it was a law case as well.
Yeah, well, yeah, you and I will give our final statements.
I think I'm going to do something now, too, where I kind of sum up the whole episode. I go,
okay.
That was fun. Today we got into... So
yeah, that's fun.
That'll come at the end of that.
I like that, but you're going to do a bit right now first?
Well, it's not even a bit. It was just kind of a topic.
Now, will I need their comments for this, or should I look at them?
Let me introduce it, and then we'll go to the comments.
Okay.
That way I can kind of set it up. You know what we're talking about. But so the guy I saw today, he was like, my biggest thing is I don't want to have regrets on my deathbed, which is kind of like you said about your obituary. But I like how you phrased it, because he's like, my biggest fear. I'm also loving the chat in the show, too.
See, you did it, not me this time. I just put it there because it was a fun thing. But it was a fun thing, and I like Stormy, and it's nice that she's here.
The same spectrum as you, but no.
I know.
But his thing was like this. I want to never look back and be like, oh man, I regret not doing this, or I regret not doing that. Which at the time, like if you're thinking about a decision or whether or not to do something, can hype you up, right? Like if you were sitting there, if you're sitting here right now, and I've seen some of your posts where you're like, I'm getting back in the dating pool. Like if you were debating whether or not to shoot your shot with a girl tonight, and you see that post, you may send her the dick pic.
Well, I've never sent a dick pic. I never would.
No, and I know you never would, but I'm saying like, because with watching that video, you're like, man, I would regret not sending this dick pic. But you could just use that same logic to be like, man, I sent that dick pic. I regret sending that dick pic. Like, there's no guidance there whatsoever. That's why I like your thing about the obituary and making your obituary cooler, because it's like, oh, do things that'll leave a legacy. I thought that was kind of, it's just funny how like sometimes you get these real like, oh yeah, I'm fired up Instagram posts, and then you're like, wait a second, let me just think about the logic there a little bit further. Oh wait.
Yeah. Will this come back to make my life better or worse?
Yeah.
It's like there's many times where like I've had people that were part of my life at one point and not good for me, but then we're like, hey, you want to hook up? And your first thought is, well, I'm lonely, maybe I wouldn't. I'm like, no, this will not be good for me in any way. I'm never gonna be that horny, and I'll be fine. It's kind of like when you're like, hey, someone wants to go to the buffet 2 hours before Thanksgiving. It's like, yeah, the buffet is fun, but I got Thanksgiving coming. That's a dumb move. I'm going to ruin it for everybody. Relax.
Well, who's at the buffet?
G. Gordon Liddy.
Okay. I don't know who that is, but she seems cool.
It was a guy who was in charge of like Watergate and shit like that. Turn my guest up a bit. Who's our guest?
I think he means me. He's probably familiar with you. I can crank it a little bit, but yeah, I've been clipping in my own headphones.
Yeah, that's good, but that's fine. Yeah, Dave, that's Bobby. This is my co-host there. But yes, thank you for helping us out. His audio was low, so no, we appreciate it. And now it should be. He's also low. He's a small man. He can't help it. Everything about him is low, and he has a huge dick. We learned today he has a giant penis.
As Kevin Hart said, we're little but big at the same time.
Oh, by the way, in case you're wondering if he did it, this guy now says, "There you go."
Thanks, Dave.
If we're gonna summarize everything up today,
there you go.
There you go.
Dude, but yeah, like it's much better now. Suck dick. You came in late and stole this one away from the rest of the crowd, man.
You not only stole the show, but our hearts.
I think that's our title of the episode too.
I don't know if that'll fly, but we'll try our best. Get a couple more of these guys here. We got our boy again, Chris. Okay, both coming on my show when I get this thing up and running in the next few weeks. We will discuss everything, leaving nothing for imagination. God help us all. Will your wife be there? And will you guys bring the shit ball? Did you see their comment, by the way, Bobby, earlier, that 4 seconds later they were laughing, which means there was 4 seconds where they were mad. We got BYB, the donkey of co-hosts. He's the donkey of everything. People are else.
Yes, sir.
Oh, Scott, I appreciate you. Man. Bobby, we're not used to having people watch.
No, this is awesome.
I'm enjoying the fuck out of it. See,
Yeah.
here's the thing. And that gets me back to what I wanted to talk about. The reason why the dabbleverse exists is because John has a thin skin. Now, people say, now, when I say that, I'm talking about things about him. No one should be going after people that aren't the actual individual. It shouldn't be people from their families or things that's bullshit. That's fuck you. That's you're gone. That stuff, they're not part of the game or the world or whatever. I mean, if they go after yours first, then yeah, you fucking fisticuff Joan. If someone ever went after my family, dude, you don't even want to fucking know. But like in comedy, and we're joking, you never do that. And we would never go after those kind of things. But when you're joking around and just doing these kind of fucking things of that nature, I understand it. But like, we have to be able to laugh. Dave telling me to suck a dick. Some of these guys that do these shows would be flipping out and yelling. And then what would happen? 75 other people would be sending eggplant pictures of sucking dicks. All these things are getting canceled because you taught them that bothers you. It was funny. The dude's like, turn it up, suck a dick. That's fucking funny. But what did Scott say? Turn it down. Why can't we acknowledge? So I think sometimes what that happens is the person on the show starts to believe their own hype, if you will. Well, I'm on the show. I'm the funny one. People in the chat aren't funny. People in the chat are fucking funny, especially people that watch these kind of shows. They're funny people that are really good at reacting and doing stuff. It's like a bunch of people at a party and we're having fun. And sometimes fun is good-natured ribbon. So why don't you just laugh at it, you let it go. If you don't let it bother you, it doesn't work. But then again, if you let it bother you and people realize they're bothering you, and then you make them pay to bother you, then you are now making money off the service. You're an ugly whore. That's like all you are. It's like someone who's like, I know I'm gross, but it's like the donkey show. And not saying you, Bobby, the great donkey, the bad donkeys in Mexico that do that thing. As much as that sounds revolting and terrible, they have donkey shows. People are paying money to go watch some lady get fucked by a donkey. And who do you blame? Do you blame the donkey? Do you blame the woman? Or do you blame the guy who's putting it on, the Ringling Brothers, if you will, of the donkey fucking? Now, you could say you blame the guy, he's exploiting the two of them. But no, you blame the audience members who are handing money. Because if no one pays money, no donkey's fucking a lady.
Here's my thoughts using your metaphor. Is the donkey enjoying it?
I don't think the donkey's dick probably feels good, but the donkey doesn't I bet you the donkey likes donkey puss. He doesn't like people puss.
But my point being, if the donkey's enjoying it and the woman's enjoying it,
the woman's not enjoying it. The woman, the decisions were made throughout her life to the point where she's getting fucked by a donkey for money. And you can say, oh, you got the right restrictions, so it can't turn into a Mr. Hands thing, and you can't destroy. I don't care what the kind of protocol you went through. When you're bent over and a donkey's ready to mount you, you start thinking about where it went wrong.
Oh, agreed. But my point being, if you found a situation where the donkey was enjoying it and doing something he enjoyed and would probably be doing regardless of whether or not the audience was there, and the woman was enjoying it and was doing something she would enjoy doing whether or not the audience was there, then maybe the guy who's setting it up isn't so much manipulating and profiting off of that. He's giving them an opportunity to profit off of what they enjoy doing. So
you think they all equally at some point had satisfaction?
No, I don't think in a donkey show that's possible, and perhaps that might be why this is a more fitting show.
Right.
More fitting metaphor for the show you were describing, where I don't think it's possible for everybody to enjoy. But I'm saying, like, if John is getting fucked, John's the woman, and the people that are bullying. Right. But my point being,
or I guess Carl and Shuli are the donkey. Because the people are buying the ticket. And if people aren't buying the ticket to watch Shuli and Carl fuck the shit out of John like a Mexican whore.
Right.
Then they're just fucking alone. They're like Chris in the shower with the poop ball. And then 4 seconds later, they're making eye contact and they're playing Air Supply and singing "Feel Like Making Love" or whatever.
But if perhaps John, and let's be honest, he was on one of the biggest, if not the biggest, radio shows of all time. He was a member of The Tonight Show. He has comedic chops. Perhaps he is this funny. If he was able to go, hey, I'm a woman who really enjoys being fucked by donkeys. Let me set this up like it's a bad thing for me and I can profit at all. Like if she's both getting fucked by the donkey and the ringling are setting up the show, God love him. You know what I mean? Like there's a chance he realized and is doing a character like a wrestling heel.
What's the one joke you love most about from Stuttering John's stand-up comedy routine?
Me?
Yeah. You just said he had comedic timing and all. What's the joke?
No. I'm saying I don't know if this is the case or not. I'm saying it's possible. Like
All
he
right.
worked for Howard Stern.
I never thought of him as stand-up. I'm not saying he's not. He did obviously do stand-up comedy, but he did it after the fact. I don't believe he was a stand-up comic first. I think he was a man who was the man. He was the original man on the street before like that gay person.
Okay.
Right?
That's a fair point.
I don't think it takes comedic timing to stutter. Actually, it's the exact opposite.
No, but if you had a disability and you went, hey, you know what? I could turn this into entertainment on the radio. You know what I mean? Like, that's, again, turning people making fun of you. Is it quicker than you expected, though, Dave? Is it really? Or is that a typical?
That just means Dave doesn't watch this show because most things end up going. My analogies, a lot of people I know are like, why is every analogy that? I'm like, I don't know. It's like, it just makes sense.
Donkey shows, they work. But you know what I mean? Like, so I guess if you enjoyed setting yourself up to be made fun of and you were able to profit off of it, I don't know if that's what's going on. I'm not familiar with the situation, right? But if you could, like, remember Ray? It's been a while since we've done a Ray episode.
Oh, our friend Ray. This universe will think Ray DeVito. Not Ray DeVito.
So this is Ray
we have a friend at Ray, a funny guy, also retarded.
Incredibly autistic. Yep. Ray would very much find it entertaining to set himself up to be a doofus, like to make money off of it, to get everybody to make fun of him. You know what I mean? Like that's his level of Andy Kaufman, like you said, esque humor. So I guess if you're doing that and that's what you enjoy doing, then great. But it feels like a lot of people are just doing things because they think it's what they should be doing, or they can make a quick $300. You know what I mean? You know another great way to make a quick $300?
What?
A donkey show.
Yes.
So
do they? How much do you think they make? What would you charge?
I think their family doesn't get beheaded for another day.
Right, but like if you're charging tickets, what would you pay? You're drunk, you're in Mexico, and there's a donkey show, and you're like, we got to see this. I wouldn't, but like if they said it was $1, I might go, holy shit, it's $1.
I don't know how drunk I'm gonna be that I won't realize that my hero complex is going to fall in love with the woman getting fucked by the donkey. Like, I could save her. I could bring her to America and give her a good life. Hey, bitch, you want to come to Thanksgiving and make it awkward with my family?
Bring the donkey.
Yeah, hey, here's a good plan. Just tell me I'll be landing at 10:30 and just don't show up.
Now, Bobby, I know you like a complex joke, like a joke within a joke, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ready?
Yeah.
This is a joke within a joke. It's classic. His name's one, the comment's the other. I like it. He's covering all the bases. Mike Hunt, have you seen my cock? Now we're starting to get the people that watch those shows. Because this is what they do. They get people to read a thing and go, oh, look, I got you to say the N-word. And then they sit there on their couch and go,
It's not going to be that hard for Pat.
no. Actually, it'll be the first time I'm allowed to.
He says ninjas all the time.
Oh, so, yeah, someone commented that I should, some show I was on, that I should have a squeegee. I look like I should have a squeegee. Which I think so. I don't know, that's funny. I look like a janitor, but one, I guess, gets to do windows. Huh? No, I mean, yeah, Dave, I know what you're saying, but John has worked in comedy clubs and has performed. I don't think John goes to open mics. I don't think John works on comedy regularly. That's why I'm saying that when he says, I'm a stand-up comic, you were, you don't do it now. You were, you don't currently do stand-up. It's not an insult to what you do. As far as I know, you don't. You had one show booked in March and you've already canceled that. So you don't do stand-up comedy. Like, I do perform it. You might shit on where I perform what I do, but I perform several times a week, and it's what I do. And I go to open mics to work on the jokes and stuff like that. So I'm not saying Dave's wrong. I'm just saying that might be too high of a ranking because he's not even going to open mics. I know guys who go to open mics. They are open micers, but they're working to one day not be an open micer. He's not even doing that. He's a YouTube personality. He's a YouTube star. Him and Jake Paul are the same.
I think Jake Paul might have something to say about that.
Well, which is the one that found the dead thing in the jungle? Was that? That's Logan.
No, dude.
That's Logan.
Word on the street is they don't even like each other anymore.
Well, a lot of brothers don't. Like the Oasis brothers, they fucking hate each other. And they made beautiful music.
I like my brother.
You are right, Brian. Brian, he did perfect doing bad interviews.
My sister allegedly is bringing a Chinese to Thanksgiving dinner.
A Chinese?
Yeah.
Like
a CCP.
No. But what? Okay, I think you have to be a little more clear. As a date or just bringing one?
No, like he's from China. They have Thanksgiving break. He doesn't know what Thanksgiving is.
Oh.
Teach him American culture. And I think she mainly did it to irritate me. Because I got a call from my mom, and it was like, hey, I know you've ruined the last couple Thanksgivings, but I really need you to not make jokes.
But I wish I could go.
You can.
I have
Friday. Dude, I'll fuck with my family like that. This is my older gay dad.
I know. I'll be on the radio
Daddy,
Friday.
Can you hold me?
Oh, hero.
Dude.
Don't worry, I can translate.
Dude, yes. Let's go. My plan was to bring a porn star and slowly escalate because there's this wedding I don't want to go to. But, like, the first thing I was going to point out is, like, I have to get a COVID test. I have to get a COVID test to enter the house. That's the motherfucker who made it.
Here, Bob, you know what? I'm going to skip a couple people because I like this comment because I want to get your take on this because I have one take on it and I like this thing right here. North London. Jimmy Carr, he does offensive jokes. You know what Jimmy Carr is. Jimmy Carr's brilliant.
Jimmy Carr, one of my
brilliant.
favorites.
He likes the audience booing and he gets more he gets more offensive. Yes, but no. He likes the audience booing, but they're not booing. The same way with Jeselnik, where they're groaning and reacting because they go there for him to fucking push that button that they can't believe he's going to push. You know what I mean? So there's a difference between, like, just sucking and booing because you hate it, but they're not booing. They're like, oh my God, I can't fucking believe it. They want that. Like when Jeselnik or like Ari Shafir tweet or something like that, where you're waiting for Daniel Tosh, people like that, where it's like they're saying the fucking thing, even though you think, oh, if they're going here, they're going to say this awful one thing, and they go somewhere even more fucked up. Carr is brilliant at that, and he's a great joke writer with it, and he knows how to lean into that character, and he does it with a fucking smile, and they also keep in the character. So it's not like they go, oh, my bad. You never see remorse. That's what makes it amazing. That Carr is brilliant because he sticks to the character and has faith in the joke, and then the audience. Think about those guys when Jeselnik and him and guys like that had to go to open mics. People must be like, get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck. No, dude, okay, maybe it's certain mics.
Other comics laugh?
Maybe, but depends where they were. If you're like in New York in like fucking alt room.
No, I know. And here's what I'll say about that. That's my opinion.
Flipped it. Come on. Fuck Jimmy Carr. That's comedy. Flipping it. He was my cock. And then my cunt. And then he's my cunt. And you see cock.
I think Jimmy Carr, going back to him.
Cunt cock.
The
Cunt,
comment
cunt.
you skipped to ask my opinion on.
I know. Sorry.
Didn't let me give one.
I know.
No, I think all those guys you mentioned are doing it because that's who they are. Like, even if you think about the infamous Bill Burr Philadelphia rant.
Yeah.
Like, that's who he is. He was that angry. That was his thoughts in the moment. Jimmy Carr likes being the guy who pushes the envelope. Tosh, Jeselnik, all of them. You know what I mean? Like, that's who they are as a person. They would be doing that regardless of the reaction they were getting. But the fact that it's getting what they want makes them like it even more. I think there's a difference between that and getting nothing. Like, people seem to think bombing, in certain urban rooms, bombing is people throw drinks at you. Or, get off the stage, you suck. But really bombing is just no engagement. Or tables starting to talk amongst themselves. Like, that's truly bombing. That's worse than booing. I can work with boos. I can turn you around. I can't get your attention. You know what I mean? Like, I think you're the kind of the same way. Although you're very good at getting a crowd's attention. But, like, if a crowd's against you at first, you kind of work with that energy. You lean on it a little bit, and by the end, they love the fact that you're kind of poking their buttons.
Right. I mean, and then depending on where I am, if they know who I am, I do get, and I'm not comparing myself anyway, but with my crowd work and the things I talk about, I do get that, oh, we know Pat will make fun of us, or we know, they almost go for that, or Pat's going to say this thing. And it's those audiences who don't know. And they're like, I don't like that kind of thing. And when you win them over and get them to do that, that's the fucking best fucking feeling in the world. That's why I do comedy. To take this stupid thought that's in my head, craft it into a thing that universally everybody can get, and it resonates with them. And I change their mind. It's a power. Like with comedy, and not just me, not just you. All these dudes and ladies in the chat. They're writing their own funny things. And how many times you and I are joking with ADHD, but they're writing something so funny. We were in one mode talking, and it makes us laugh so much. It changed our mode, our mindset. That's what comedy is. And for some people to call themselves a fucking comic when they don't even do that, all they do is go up there and go, this guy's fat, this guy's Jewish, this guy's this. There's no joke. You're just literally saying it. Do it with some kind of fucking creativity. Make it something that fucking proves that you have a thought in your fucking head, and then you can call yourself a comedian. But until then, shut it the fuck up.
Even, like Jimmy Carr used as an example, one of my favorite jokes of his, he asks the audience to like, they came prepared with lines, because that's something he does regularly, you know what I mean? Like, he's prepared, that's something he wants. That's not him just irritating people. You were talking about a road hack once, who was at a club and was like, this guy's this, this guy's this. And he's like, hey, there's always one of them. Like, you're just going up there to piss people off. Sure, that's engaging. Maybe it'll get their attention, but you've worked hard enough to not have to do that anymore. You're not at a bar where nobody knew there was comedy. You're at a place where people paid to see you.
Yeah.
Maybe
No.
I'm a diva.
No, you're not a diva. That's exactly what it is. But now we're in this world where the audience want, and I guess I can say I was wrong if I now go that route, because I just said maybe I'm wrong. I don't think so, but I just talked about Jimmy Carr knowing and staying with the character. And I was just saying earlier that John and guys like that are making money by just being mean, or the people in the chat are just paying money to be mean. They're just being Jimmy Carrs. I guess they're just staying in their lane and being their thing. But I guess the difference is that somebody's having a good time at a Jimmy Carr show because they're there for it, but they know at the end of the day it's all in good fun. And all this other stuff is just like, no, I'm going to go after your lives and your childhood and all this kind of crazy shit. Like, there's a whole thing. I don't want to get into that world, but there's a whole thing with the Chad Zuma thing where this poor woman, he's going after her fucking family and doing shit, and everyone's going against him now. It's like, dude, just fucking go after the one person as their name and if this guy is Mike Hawk and he says Mike Hawk stuff, I'm going to call him Mike Hawk forever. I'm never once going to try to find out who he is. I don't care, and I also want to know him as Mike Hawk. I like Mike Hawk.
Yeah. At the same time, though, I am a big fan of the Mike Tyson quote. Social media has made a lot of motherfuckers comfortable with talking shit and not getting hit in the face. Like, there are lines that people cross, and kind of like the whole John thing where you're like, yeah, man, just take a joke and roll with it, or they get to you. But the minute they do go after your kids, or they do something,
and they have done that to him, so that part,
you know what I mean. So
he should want to kill those people.
But you get one or two of those, and you just assume it's only a matter of time before this guy escalates to that. You know what I mean? Like, you live in a world full of so many irrational people. You just assume everybody acts that way. So sometimes you overreact, but it's also one of those things where then, like, if you get in a position where somebody has crossed the line and you get them in a room, do you ruin your life? You know?
Maybe.
Yeah, like, depending on what line it was, yeah, absolutely. But, like, think about Pat Dixon. Like, we all know the story. He had to leave.
For those who don't, Pat Dixon punched the shit out of
Punched
Gino
Gino.
Visconti because
Yeah,
Gino was
lost
being a
his
fucking
job.
troll.
And lost his job for it. And, like, there was back and forth there. It wasn't all one-sided. I'm not saying...
The punch was.
Yeah, there was no retaliation.
You
But
can't
get
when
my
you're on the
point,
ground
like-
being a fucking bitch.
So,
By the way, hi, Bobby Fran. Love you, buddy. Thank you for being on the show the other day. It was a lot of fun. Anytime.
you explained at the beginning of the show the difficulty you had explaining it to, say, like, your mother. Right?
Right.
Imagine now you have to go, okay, Your Honor, have you heard of Howard Stern? You know what I mean? Like,
But some of these guys do bring people to court.
yeah, that's my point. Especially, like, if you escalate to the point where you beat somebody up for something they said online, and you could be like, yeah, sure, they crossed the line, but how much time do you have, Your Honor? Are you willing to pay for MLC's Patreon? You know what I mean? Like, it gets to a point where it's like, I don't know. I think the key is just not to engage and do what makes you happy.
This guy's a Tukey. This guy's a Joey C. This guy's a cunt. That's what they do. They just yell out things. It's Everybody's
so
just
the
saying hi to
puppet
each other.
doxed your kid's school.
Does the puppet go to court?
That's
And the
yeah,
guy?
like, you see what I'm saying? Like, it's just nuts.
I like when they dox the puppet. By the way, Kevin Brennan had a woman on today that does puppet stuff, and I knew who it was because when I first started doing comedy, she did puppet stuff at a show at a fucking like a biker bar that I performed at, and she was there, and then later on she got drunk and blew two bikers, and the puppet watched.
Puppet stuff sounds like
Puppet stuff.
how you describe, like, an over-the-pants hand job. I don't know. What'd you get into with that chat? We did puppet stuff.
But yeah, Brian, thank you, man. You were fun today. You know,
Peace
I
out,
thought
Brian.
there was just the perfect amount of Brian.
He might be third mic next week.
But speaking of people having on soon, Bobby, definitely want to have you on. Bobby Fran, want to have you on sometime soon. So I'm gonna you, Bobby. I want to do bubble Bobby action.
Here's my thing, Ted.
Oh wait, I forgot one that I really enjoyed. Shit, where did it go? How do I get up? Or you go ahead. You do your thing.
No, I love Bobby Fran. He's a great dude.
Yeah.
But I've had an issue of too many people named Bobby lately.
Wait, that's not their fault.
I know. It's not their fault. I love Bobby. He's the exception. There's an exception to every rule. Bobby Fran's the exception to the rule. But, like, my cousin who I don't like's getting married, and the guy she's getting married to and bringing into Thanksgiving is named Bobby. And, like, I'm named Bobby. So he's entering the family. He should get a new name, right?
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
this is the one I wanted to put up.
And then my uncle calls him Bobby G, and I've gone by Bobby T. I also
You're BT though. I like that. BT.
Yeah, BG.
BG's not as cool as BT.
No, it's not, but it's also, like, way too close.
Because BG's like big gay. BT's like big testicles.
Yeah.
Or black testicles.
Because they got contused.
Because I'm going to take them.
What's it called when they...
I'm going to steal your nuts.
I love Bobby Fran. Bobby's a friend. You can be on. We can do double Bobby time.
But when I said I like my cock, I love my cock, Stormy loves my cunt.
When Bobby's on, I'm going to make you call me Trace.
You can change your name for that one?
And
That's
maybe
nice.
permanently. This might be a midlife crisis.
This is a midnight show. We're past that. We started late. This might be a new Tuesday thing. I don't know why all these people are on. But Tuesdays work for me this way because I got to do dumb shit late and so do you. This might be a new fucking Tuesday. But Wednesdays can be tough. There are a lot of Bobbies.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Trace.
How about this? Bobs.
Allow me
The
to
Bobs
introduce-
with an S.
No, I had an issue with
The
that.
B.O.B. Remember that guy?
Allow me... Yeah. Let's pretend like airplanes in the night sky. I got the
What are you, Ray DeVito? Don't fucking
in
sing.
me. Hey, if that makes him happy, man, that's been my message the whole night.
Dude, Bobby Fran described you as an old soul. I go, yeah, that motherfucker knows Harry Chapin.
Yeah,
It's
man, I
nothing
do.
older than that shit.
Hello.
And Bobby Fran says yes. So yes, we'll be hitting you up after the Thanksgiving holiday weekend there, and we'll hit you up soon to have you on, my friend. But
Oh, let's do it. Drug
Bobby,
dealing music.
in our
I
new
am fluent.
thing that you just came up with, tell us what we learned today.
All right, so today's episode we got into something known as the Dabble Universe, or the Dabbleverse, inspired by former radio personality Stuttering John. You may remember him from the Howard Stern Show, or as we learned the Tonight Show. And we learned basically that hate sells, but in doing so, it's kind of the modern day version of selling your soul, because you give up your passion of what you enjoy for the short-term fame and or financial gain. And in the long term, you end up soulless and empty on the inside. So don't do that. Also, don't fuck your wife in the ass or you'll get shit on your dick. Those were the two big takeaways from today's episode. Pat, tell the people where they can see you if they enjoyed what we were doing.
Well, first of all, everyone that's here, thank you so much. If you don't already subscribe to it, please do. If you haven't liked it, fucking flick that bean, as people have said before in the comments, which I feel gross saying, but whatever. We really appreciate everybody that hears us in the chat today. We had a lot of fun with it. Subscribe to the channel, all that great stuff there. Most of my shows coming up now are in the Connecticut area. If you are around in Connecticut, I will be at the Heritage Hotel on Saturday. Bye, Bobby. I don't think I told you this, but I might have. I have two shows on Saturday. The first show I'm doing, I am going to my high school's 30th high school. It's not mine. Mine will be the following year, but I'm going to the high school to shit on them. I'm being paid to make fun of people I went to high school with. About 40 or 50 will be there, and I'm going to shit on them and then leave and then go be on a show with a bunch of people that are guests from Chaz and AJ. So AJ will be on the show, myself, and then a bunch of other comics on there at the Heritage Hotel in Southbury. It'll be a fun time there. So on Saturday, if you're in the area, it'll be a good time. Go check that out. If you want to listen to me on WPLR, 991 PLR, and you're not from Connecticut, you just go to their website or you can put on the app and hear it there. I will be on Black Friday from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. and on Sunday also from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. on there as well. So, what?
Are you doing Black Voice all Friday?
Yeah, hello there. It's
Hello,
WPLR. He's the Rolling Stones. It's like, Puerto Rican girls are dying to meet you. Thank you very much. It was a fun show. Thank you, Scott. The donkey was very nice for the 2 minutes I met him.
Nice to meet you for those 2 minutes, Max. A lot of women say that about me.
Do you know this man?
Max, where'd we meet?
It says C. Mox. Is that Max?
Mox. I'm so sorry, C. Mox.
Maybe he doesn't know what I'd say because he doesn't want to do it. So I'd say like, share, and subscribe. You guys deserve it. And thank you, Stormy. And we also enjoy my cunt. Thank you very much for being here. And not White Friday. You're right. Bobby, you do. We leave with an educational tip. You do know where Black Friday actually comes from. It's not from racism. It actually comes from when old people back in the day, before computers, would write down their numbers, and I would teach you the people, but they'd write down in pens, and you would write in red when you weren't making enough money to survive for a business for a year, and when you made enough money to pass what you had to make, you wrote it in black pen to know you were there, so that made it Black Friday. That big day after Thanksgiving got you money. And then afterwards, it didn't work out because black people stole your pens. And that's where Black Friday comes from.
Actually, you're so close. So close. The reason, dude, this is nuts, but do you know the president who moved Thanksgiving?
Does that sound like a Hallmark movie? The president who moved Thanksgiving.
No, so like,
With
if you
Heath
think
Ledger.
about it, Thanksgiving saves the great, was celebrating the harvest, right, to make it through the winter.
Is that what it? Wait, is it a celebration of something?
So the first Thanksgiving,
I just thought the
when-
Pilgrims had dinner.
but it was like their
thought it was
first
the
big
first
harvest
dinner.
that they successfully did. So it's actually like was originally at the end of October.
Oh no! Wait, hold on, real quick, because now I'm sad. Oh no!
C. Mox.
You don't-
Did
why don't I
you
remember this
introduce
man?
yourself as C. Mox?
Hey, why don't you remember this man?
Did you introduce yourself?
Don't
as
you?
that? I
Was he wearing
apologize.
that outfit with the mask?
Actually, is that the? I can't really see because my screen's small. Is
Is
that
that the Among Us?
Is that One Piece? The wanted poster for that one guy.
Oh, but
I don't know.
C-Mox is upset, but
C. Mox, I apologize.
Bobby's a
man.
dickhead, C-Mox. Don't worry about it. He's so big time. He doesn't remember. He doesn't know my name. I have to send him my name before the show.
Yeah, half the time I call him potatoes.
Yeah,
But,
fucking dickhead.
What were we talking about?
Imagine that if that's what Stuttering John found out. Did you know that he used to be called by potatoes because his name sounds like Pat Outlaw when you read it, and it fucking looks like
He
spinach.
should do a show with Melvin, or the potato guy, whoever the potato guy is.
He should be Cardiff and the potato. We should be the potato, and then you could have someone nice on there, and they could be sweet potato.
Yeah. Speaking of sweet potatoes, Thanksgiving is how we got into that riff. So
Yes.
the president realized that there wasn't like a big holiday for people to shop before Christmas. And the president who realized that to help people get into the black on that Friday was Abraham Lincoln.
Oh, he loved the blacks.
And that's why
Black's
we call it
Friday.
Black Friday.
That's not true. But all right.
Everything up to the last part is. Actually, Lincoln is the guy who did that. That was one of the little known things. Turns out that whole freeing the slaves kind of overshadowed moving Thanksgiving. That's why
Bobby,
the Canadians have a different one.
Do your plugs, you racist.
It's a true story.
I know. Do your thing.
December 1st, Laughing Stock Comedy Club in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. I talked a lot of shit to get the headline this show. I should move some tickets, please.
Yeah,
Please.
I think you should too. Way
It's
to talk
me.
shit.
It's Ron Kane. It's Jeffrey Paul's hosting, and Sabrina Piper will be there as well. So
Oh, her name's like, what's her handle? Tits McGee or something?
Funny girl with tits,
All right.
and true on both accounts. So come check it out.
All right. All right. Thank you, everybody, for watching. And Bobby.
If you can't join them, beat them. And remember, do what makes you happy, and fuck what anybody else says.
Yeah.
Don't be a piece of shit.
Oh, don't see this shit. Don't